What is up, friends? We are here for episode number 23. Every week, I'm surprised we made it this far. We've done 23 of these bad boys. Like, not bad. Not bad. We're
not bad at all.
We'll actually more friends than I have.
Well, you and me both. Well, we're actually coming up on our 1 year mark here at the turn of the year. Not too far away. It's been 1 year of Map 5. We'll have to think of something good to do for our 1 year anniversary. Who knows?
What about we, well, I've lost the idea. I was hoping it would come into my head, to be honest. Why don't we just, have one of us, get married or something? Like, the way, in Monte Cristo, they the big esports.
Can't be me or Phil.
yeah. I was gonna say, Billy, you could do it, but you've actually tied the knot, haven't you? Yeah, so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not happening.
You certainly don't want to marry me. That's not going to work out good for you.
Yeah, so it's not going to be either. It's not going to be any of us really. So that's not happening. Unlucky.
So if anybody wants to marry Ocean, so we can get a green card. No, kidding.
Nah. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyone going to Overwatch League finals?
Yeah, we are going to Overwatch League finals. So we won't have an episode. Hell, I guess we could. We'll have an episode next week.
You do have an episode next Monday. It's just I'm on a plane.
Yeah, we won't have one the Monday after. I don't think we'll have one on the 7th.
Well, technically, when's your flight back on the Monday?
Yeah, but I don't want to try to fly home from being a week in LA and try to put a podcast together.
No. I meant we could do it in the airport.
I don't want to try to do a podcast from the airport. No.
Oh, okay.
No. It'd be interesting if we could actually do one live, but this isn't the time for that.
We will have 3 of us live.
Yeah, but it won't be on the right day. And I want all 4 of us live, damn it. I want all 4 of us on a couch or around a table.
You know what?
And actually do a proper in-person podcast just once.
Have us all be close together for the entire time.
I'm down for that whenever that gets the chance to happen.
Well,
anyone know any rich people?
No, afraid not. No. So, since that idea won't work, we might as well just talk about some news. Unless there's anything else interesting going on with y'all this week. I know my week's been pretty cut and dry.
I'm ready to get on with gaming.
We have a cost of living crisis in the UK, and I can't buy a chocolate bar with £1. I need 1.25.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a bit bad.
Cost of living in Texas has tripled in the past 10 years, and I guarantee you salaries haven't tripled. Yeah, no, cost of living in Texas has skyrocketed. We just had to add a new area code. Because
have you decided? What if you just decided to get rid of Texas?
No. I mean, it's Dallas in particular, and I happen to like Texas. Thank you very much. I know there's a lot of...
My parents live there.
I know there's a lot of shit.
No. We just get rid of the Texas government.
But this is my home.
Just get rid of the government and keep the area.
We'll just try to replace them. We'll see how this goes. Early voting actually started today. Speaking of,
yay! Get out there and vote, please.
Yes, go vote. Go vote. It's important. Yeah.
Decent.
Is
that it? Is that
back on track.
Back
on track.
We are. We're still intros. We are on track.
Yeah, we were just talking about the cost of living
I'm playing the role of Taskmaster Phil tonight.
Oh, yeah. No, Phil's watching over us with his purple lay there. I should have rotated him so he was looking at us, but then I'd just feel intimidated the entire podcast. So I had to have him facing the other direction, so he's not at least staring at me for the entire time we're doing this.
It's quite tough. It's tough when Phil isn't here because there's no one there to fill the void.
All right. On that note,
wow.
I feel like I just have so much chaotic energy today. I don't know what's going on with me.
Well, you keep that going.
Well, I suppose it's time to get into some news. This is going to be a bit of a short episode this week. No, we're going to, recap some stuff that happened. Got a few tournaments to recap. What's up, Twin Salty? Appreciate y'all being here. But we don't really have our idea. We had this wonderful podcast lined up. Kind of fell through last moment. We had a very special guest. It will still happen. It's just not going to happen tonight. So it kind of left us with just, well, let's just go on and talk about what news we had planned, and we'll just kind of improvise from there. I think we may end up doing just doing some gaming afterwards. If anybody wants to join, I may stream it. Haven't really decided. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of see how it goes, let's see how this podcast goes.
We have tried
It's
the
a mixed bag.
transition like fucking 4 times.
It's a mixed bag. Yeah, I know.
It's your fucking topic. Go ahead. Just
I
talk
know.
about it.
I'm doing lower thirds. All right. I'm doing
You're
lower
gonna
thirds.
first. I got you.
There we go. Typing and stuff. All right. We'll start things off with some roster moves. As Shyam is moving over to Cryax. Going to be an assistant coach over there. Previously worked with Nyx in that crew. I mean, thoughts on this move?
Shyam's always nice enough. Cryax also.
I like
think
Shyam a lot.
Yeah, so I think it's cool. Shyam's cool. I'm glad to see they've got a home somewhere, and Cryax seem cool as well. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I like both of these
cool
players.
squared.
Yeah,
Cool
exactly.
squared.
Like nothing but positive things to say about both the org and the coach. So hopefully it's a good match. I'm excited to see how Cryax does in this upcoming OD/contenders tournament. Hell, maybe we'll reach out and see if we can get Shyam on as a guest and get some more coach perspective. I always like getting coaching perspective. I feel like it's such
Why? Because you're like bronze.
Yes, I need all the help I can get.
Wow.
But no, that's not why. It's such a unique perspective that's hard to understand from the outside point of view. I feel like I always learn something new every time I talk to a coach.
I love it because it gives me insights into how they dissect the meta that's currently going on. That's my favorite part of it is what is their unique thought. And Shyam is actually a really big brain in our community, and I've interacted with him in Twitch chat a couple times, had a couple of DMs with him. So I definitely think this is going to be a really good fit for
Shyam's
Cryax.
like double my tweets. That means they've got to be a banger person. So yeah,
Right.
there you go.
Criteria met. All right, Shyam, you get 2 thumbs up in our book. Moving on.
That's me.
Yep, as one flower buds, another withers.
Yeah, Helv, the Swiss Spaniard tank player, has retired officially from Overwatch competitive. Reading through his tweet longer, he just wants to focus on life now. He put a lot of his effort into being in the community, being the best that he could, and hopefully getting a shot at the main stage, but never got there. Looking through some of the comments, the biggest one for me right now, looking at Ben Best, it's in French. But he said, this is something new. You're one of the best. I consider you one of the best tanks in all of contenders. And with many huge similarities with your aggression. And you have a really good Reinhardt. So good luck for the rest of your life, and make sure that you take care of what's important. So, and he salutes him off. That's a good one. From Dams, one of the Overwatch French casters. You're going to be missed enormously in the European scene. Good GGs for you and everything that you've accomplished, and good luck for the rest of your life. So, I'm going to miss Helv. Helv was actually a really, really damn good main tank player, and I just don't think that the transition over to Overwatch 2 may have been as kind to him as some of the other tank players that are a little bit more versatile.
Well, I mean, it's also, BH dropping out like kind of right before Overwatch 2 dropped didn't help. Didn't help his cause, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's rough. When you finally get used to playing with a crew, you build those friendships, you build the synergy, you build the relationships, you build a winning record, something you're really proud of, and then through no fault of your own and no control of your own, suddenly that thing is kind of had the rug pulled out from underneath you. So, I mean, I've been there in other aspects of my life. That takes a toll. That really takes a toll. So, but no, I mean, Helv has been a mainstay of T2 Overwatch for some time now. It has been a leader in T2 Overwatch for some time now. So it's definitely going to be missed. I love Lethal's comment. 5 stack the ranked of IRL. It's a good comment. It's a good comment.
Yeah.
All right, moving forward. Ocean,
Sorry,
you're up.
I've been distracted by something to fidget with. It's
What?
my bad.
What? ADHD kicking in? What are you fidgeting with?
I just dropped it. I don't know where it's gone. This little thing here is like a little tiny thing. I'm not sure what it is.
You just find like random pieces of trash and start playing with it?
Yep.
We need to get you a fidget spinner.
Lord.
I have a fidget spinner somewhere. I actually don't know where it is. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic, right? We got some Korean contenders news. We've got Noist and Off moving to Panthera. Just Panthera needed a new DPS and new flex support player, so they find some pretty suitable replacements. We think Panthera will still be a top 3, 4, 5 team in Korea. I'm just unsure if they'll place higher than Suppressor or be able to challenge T1. Obviously, Talon's gone now, so they'll be around. They'll be around.
I mean, it's definitely a tough region, but if you're gonna level up your squad, Dice is a great one to have on there. Off is a pretty amazing tank as well. So I think this is a great pickup. We actually called this one last week. Phil, who is unfortunately unable to join us tonight, kind of spearheaded that one. There's clips out there. It's true, friends. We actually called this one. It's another Map 5 like certified prediction.
I want Panthera to do well, so I'm hoping it works out for them. I like the gamers over at Panthera. They're very, very kind.
That's good to hear. Yeah,
It's good to hear.
Have did y'all scrim them or something? Like what kind of interactions have you had with them?
I know some of their managers. They're just all very, very polite people. So I don't know why our scrim environments were. I would assume the ex-Incendia Pokerface rosters screamed them. I would very much assume so.
Right. Well, I mean, you just said they were nice people, like you had. I mean, clearly
nice
you had more
people,
interaction than we have, so I was just curious what that was.
Yeah, they're nice people. That's just a simple thing. I don't
Sure.
really know too much about their actual lives. They're just nice people.
Nice. Right on.
Simple as that.
Nice. All right. All right.
It's Noist. I'm sorry, it just popped in my head.
On to the next topic.
Billy, at least we make ourselves laugh.
You're up, Jeff. You're up.
Oh, am I up? Oh, wonderful. Let's see. We've got just kind of a recap of Overwatch Collegiate so far, of the homecoming so far. Currently going through Swiss stages. This is going to go on for a few weeks. So we're just going to do our best to keep you all updated where everybody is at. And, well, right now, it's a lot of 4-0s at the top of this bracket. But this is a 5-week Swiss stage. Top 32 teams move on, so that's what we're seeing here. There are a couple of names in here that kind of Longhorn Gaming in here. Rowan Fox Girls, I have no idea who that is.
Is it just me, or I think I heard that Redbirds played HU and Northwood last week. Did that actually happen?
Yeah, I believe so.
What the? I need to ask, what the fuck's that about?
Yeah, it sounds like they played each other.
That shouldn't happen at this early stages of the tournament. Somebody needs to say that happen and go, look, that's not right.
Well, I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm not sure if that was for. Oh yeah, because HU is 3-1 and Northwood's 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, and Redbirds are 4-0.
And Redbirds are 4-0.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's how you end up with HU Storm and North University currently in 30 and 31st. Is both of them. But seriously, who put like top 3 teams in the country to play each other?
Surely you see that in the system and go, hang on, something's not right.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute.
Maybe they actually applied a randomizer though. Like maybe they actually did that and didn't go back on it.
No format should have those teams play in week 2.
I'm not disagreeing, Ethan, but
it's a Swiss stage.
I know you're giving logic.
They can still play. They can get themselves through it. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah, we'll still see HU Storm and Northwood in top 32.
Yeah.
And it's a Swiss stage. It's not like it's a single Elam playoff or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would like to have seen those games. I believe they are on the Redbird Twitch. I know at least one of them is on the Redbird Twitch. I've been wanting to go back and watch them, but I haven't had a chance since they happened because this was 2 days ago. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Muffin was casting one of them, one of our community members.
Yeah.
Friends of the podcast. I did not get
We
a
have
chance to watch
friends?
that because we were.
No.
Yeah, well, we do. I don't know about you, Ethan, but I know that Jeff and I have quite a few friends in the collegiate
debatable.
community.
It's debatable.
I believe
Okay,
until
I
you said
have
Jeff.
friends in the collegiate community. I know that. Okay, I know that. Okay. Awkward silence. Moving on.
Moving on. I think that's all we got to say about that.
Yep, moving on. CEC has their first. Yes.
I mean, I was going to say that there is actually. We'll delve into this more as the weeks go on. How about that?
Yes.
Oh, and I forgot about my lower thirds.
Oh, lower thirds. Meow, meow, meow. So the CEC South Regional Overwatch tournament just happened this past weekend. Septilence and Dividing were there as commentators. I don't know if they did that actually on site or if I think they did do it on site because they were asking for people that were in the South. But Converse Esports, somebody that's competing in NECC, actually takes the first place over UTD, University of Texas Dallas, in the grand final there. They qualify through, get a $1,500 payday. Kennesaw State and University of Florida, the Gators, also in the winners and losers finals or semifinals there. So there's your first through fourth places there. Looking at the other teams that participated, University of Central Florida, University of Texas Arlington, Blend Esports, and Central Iowa University also were available there. So they had a good time there. Converse gets the automatic seed, automatic qualification into the end of season tournament. So we shall see how they do there. And I think there's another qualifier coming up next month. If I remember how the CEC works through the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup, I think that they do have more than one qualifier. So not necessarily the last road here for UTD or Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State actually has a pretty damn good team, having seen them a few times throughout a couple of various competitions. They actually have a pretty darn good squad. But Converse, yeah, we had a chance. You and I had a chance to see Converse this past week, Jeff, and they don't look bad at all.
Yeah, no, I've cast them quite a few times over the past year and some months. This is, I mean, it's a good squad. There's several members of the old Backstab Buds are on Converse. They recently picked up Orion, who played with them back in the day. They replaced Maxwell, who was their previous main support.
Yep.
And then with Garchomp, Hammer, Quicks, Still Kiwi, like it's a solid squad. They were ranked 13th overall, as we showed last week in the Okra ratings. With UTD is ranked 5th or 6th in those ratings. So I mean, this is a pretty big upset. Converse have really stepped up. They looked really, really good last week. UTD isn't. I've always been rated higher. I was gonna say they were in the upper echelon as far as in other tournaments, but that's not entirely true. Converse is still in that same top tier. But I don't think of Converse as being like in that top 5 capable. So for them to come in and upset a team like UTD, I mean that really is that's a big blow up. Like that's a huge upset. And just to put that in perspective, during group stages, UTD did beat them 3-0 in group stages. It was a clean sweep. UTD didn't drop a map through group stages. So to go and lose to Converse in the finals of this qualifier, good job to Converse. Converse, both their last 2 games were 5 mappers. And then they pull them both out. So applause to them. And we got to start thinking about moving them up in that Okra rating. As far as just how we perceive them, I don't think they're a top 15 team anymore. I think they might have breached top 10, especially if they can keep this performance up.
Well, they also did it against Louis and Petal, and we all know Petal from contenders.
I think Louis was on the bench for a little bit of this tournament as well. I think Louis was rotating with
Is it Jukebox?
Derpy.
Oh yeah, Derpy's the other team. That's right.
Derpy.
They've also got Abdallah. They got like 3 really good tanks.
Yeah. No, UTD is a
Right.
stacked squad.
Like, why are they all good tanks? Like, maybe invested like in other departments. You think? Oh, you got 3 really talented tank players.
I mean, their DPS lineup is pretty stacked too. Casher and Petal like do some work.
Oh no, they're good
Yeah.
players. I'm just saying that they've got 3 really good tanks in a 1 tank game.
What's really interesting about both of these squads is they're actually, I don't want to say low funded, but they don't exactly have the resources of your Maryville, your Northwood, your Redbirds. They don't have anywhere near those kind of resources at either of these schools. Both of these squads have been kind of built from nothing, and just friends and word of mouth, and it was a big deal for UTD to get Petal. Like, that was a huge deal. That's Petal and the Humega Lulz was one of the running jokes from last year that Louis tweeted out. And they really have. They've built some phenomenal squads with very, very little. They kind of pulled the equivalent of a London Spitfire, where the budget is just nothing, and they still managed to put together a highly competitive squad. I'd say that's true for both Converse and UTD, and one of the reasons I like both of those schools so much.
The other thing is, I think they really understand the meta going on right now, and they have, in their game against Fisher, they really try to highlight some of this off-meta stuff. Maybe they're fine-tuning that. I didn't get a chance to see any of this tournament, but I mean, they actually impressed both of us, even though it was a 3-0 sweep by Fisher. I think that they really, I know that they impressed you and I on the broadcast that we were looking at them. Especially when they decided to opt into the mirror, they actually held their own against them. So, maybe all this extra competition going on is actually bolstering up their synergy and getting them, propelling them to even higher heights.
Absolutely, and of course, Fisher is the old Bay State squad. Like, that's still like that. That is a very, very strong. So that is a top 5 squad for sure.
Yep, Hammer and Orion, the other 2 original Best Buds members in that.
Hammer, Orion, and Garchomp, I believe.
Garchomp played for them for a little bit.
Garchomp, yeah, I'm just looking back through my DMs with Quicks before. I don't think Garchomp was with them, but that's okay. I think he may have come later on.
Yeah, maybe he joined later on. Entirely possible. Good squad though. All right,
I think it's me again.
moving on.
Coming up
No,
with
2 in a row.
Natter X.
How did you
Yeah,
do?
wait, what? Not fair.
Yep, 2 in a row.
Not
Well,
fair.
I had to pick up what Phil. Yeah, and you asked me to do this one. So, Natter X Community, the first chapter tournament concluded. We had previously taken a look at this the week before. They did end up finishing the tournament out here, and Project A beating Redbird Esports in the loser brackets finals, 2-0. Then they went to a game 5 where Odyssey comes out 3-2 over Project A. I mean, Odyssey was obviously picked to win this one, but Project A coming out with a very strong performance, losing in their opening round and then making their run all the way through the loser bracket, going up against Wisp and Nyx, respectively. And then the 2-0 up against Redbird Esports is probably the most standout win for them there. And taking Odyssey to 5 maps, that's not a bad week's worth work whatsoever. So congrats to Odyssey, but Project A is somebody we might need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's a shame they're not really around.
Yeah, it's a shame that they did some things.
Yeah, they kind of disbanded right after this tournament.
Well, we don't know that. I think they might be doing something.
Right.
I think they're going to be doing something.
I've heard some words.
Yeah, you may expect another team with this roster. I think is kind of what we're expecting. But they did. They definitely surprised. I mean, you come out on top of a lot of T2 teams. Wisp, Nyx, Redbird. That's the one where I was shocked. I would have bet all my money on Redbird in this one. But Project A, like they contained them. I don't know if Redbird was just looking ahead. Perhaps the the Dallas Fuel syndrome, where you looked past Atlanta to try to beat Shanghai and didn't prepare for Atlanta, and then Atlanta beat them and ended up taking second place in the grand finals last year. I wonder if there wasn't something similar going on. There's also, in talking with the Redbird coach, the Natter tournament was like one of 5 events they've been competing in. So I know Redbird Esports had like 14 matches that week. So there might have been a little, I don't know if burnout's the right word, but just maybe a little overworked and so couldn't prepare for
maybe mental fatigue.
But I think it more just feeds into they maybe didn't have time to prepare for each of these teams and just prepped for Odyssey. Yeah. And I think it kind of feeds into that theory a little bit. But hey, good job for Project A. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, we're definitely keeping an eye on that roster.
Top squad. It's still a win over a top squad. So, and taking Odyssey to 5 maps, honestly, that's even a bigger.
Oh, that's huge
result.
Yeah, so, I don't know about bigger, but
and Doomed was on that Project A squad too, and one of our CGL faves. So
yeah, Doomed looked really good.
After that, the Tracer was really popping.
Yeah, Doom was on fire that tournament. Holy crap. Those last 2 series in particular.
Yep. Okay.
My turn?
Well, what's up next? Yeah, it looks like you're up.
So we got the NC Contenders start last week. My team not doing so hot. In the Shimada Showdown. We had a really, really interesting game against Donuts USG. So actually, I want to talk about Donuts USG because they beat us and they beat Mindfreak 3-2 in the second round. And I was going through, I was hunting a lot of things, and I've done some research. Donuts USG, in terms of community engagement and interaction, as well as your most followed players, etc., have the most community engagement interaction. It's also including like people buying stuff from Donuts and also liking players' tweets by double.
Wait, what?
By double. It's not even close.
Wow.
T1 is second.
Let's see, where's...
Yeah. Double. But T1 second, like T1, right? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
look, they get a lot of interaction on just also their actual, players' posts. Very devoted community they seemingly have. So look, I found that really interesting. I don't know about you guys. They also have really, really stepped it up this season. They were really good. In their match against us and against Mindfreak, a 3-2 victory, had a really nice win. They're kind of like the highlighted team that I really want to talk about when it comes to NZ Contenders.
You think they'll make a lower bracket run?
Oh, yeah, they're in the upper bracket right now. They beat Mindfreak, so they're doing good. Unless they lost.
They did.
After that.
Lost to Ground Zero.
They lost to Ground Zero? I mean, Ground Zero is Roxanne right now, I'm pretty sure, right? Let me have a little look at Ground Zero's roster. Oh, I think they'll win. If not, it'll be Ground Zero. Yeah, Ground Zero has Oh no, Ground Zero's Dreamer.
Yeah, they have Dreamer. I was gonna say it's Dreamer. Dreamer and Nami are the 2 that stand out.
Oh, Wilby has a good roster as well, but I think they're all. No, they're in the lower bracket as well.
Yeah, Wilby got beat by Order recently.
That's gonna be a good game.
I don't. Did these get? I guess these got streamed. I've watched so many games this past week.
Mindfreak. That's going to be a really good game. Mindfreak have had a really tough run of it, I guess.
Mindfreak have had a tough run of it. They had to face USG and then Kit Bash.
Yeah, no, that's not exactly nice. So they're gonna play Wilby next. I think they're a good team. Well, I think it'll be between Donuts and Ground Zero. Ground Zero have Dreamer, is a familiar name. Nami, JCap, Lab. They're a very, very stacked team. I have a suspicion that USU or Ground Zero will win. I'm very excited to see Order doing well. They beat Dire Wolves. Order finished second in OD. They beat Dire Wolves. They beat Wilby. That's a big shot for me, seeing Order beat Wilby. So we'll see how they do. I don't think they're better than Ground Zero or USG, but glad to see them in the winners finals.
Hell yeah! When is the next one? Is it this weekend? Saturday?
No. It'll be at a weird time. Give me a second. Wikipedia doesn't have the answer. Because the last games were on like Wednesday and Thursday. I remember trying to schedule social posts. It was a fucking nightmare.
Were they Wednesday, Thursday?
I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Thursday, Friday. 20th was one. 20th was the second day. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday.
It was
Holy
Wednesday,
fuck.
Thursday. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can. We are so good at this. A well-oiled
Wednesday,
machine that is Map 5, always prepped, always have all the relevant information.
I just
that we
wanted to talk
want
about WSG
at
because
our
I thought it was
fingertips.
extremely interesting. I thought their engagement numbers are extremely good, and like a lot of people, they'll say, "Oh, look, their match day tweet hasn't got many likes." So look at the player tweets. A player tweet saying "GG's" getting 150 likes. That shit happens regularly for them. So that's what I'm saying. And one thing that's really interesting, and I'll tell you why I think USG has this devoted following, is when I'm talking to people in America, right, who, or even Europe as well, just the Western audience in general, and you're talking about supporting an organization, they'll never buy things from that organization or even talk to any of their sponsors or look at that, right? They won't. But a Japanese team, and Japanese fans, and even Brazilian fans to an extent, I get this from motorsport, watching motorsport a lot. They have a Japanese driver, they back them 100%, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So they will back their people a lot. Whereas you have like a tournament organizer here in the US that's running loads of lands and has a sponsor, and any people wouldn't look at that, and I'm not sure why.
So keep an eye out
It
for
just
us.
seems that in different regions they have this different thing of supporting,
Yeah, sure.
or a different way of supporting.
Let's see.
So do you think it's because, like, just because they're an all Japanese squad, they're just getting
Yeah.
they're just getting all the
100%.
support? I think
Yeah.
that's really cool. I don't see an upcoming link yet, but I imagine it'll be on Wednesday. I know
Yeah.
it was at an earlier time for me. It was like 1 a.m. EST. It wasn't like typically Australian Contenders is like 5 or 6 EST. This last one started at like 1 EST.
Are you talking about the Shimada showdown that they had on?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's Australian
yeah, that
Contenders.
was- yeah.
It's ANZ.
That's Australian Contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started that at 1:30 a.m.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous.
Central, so 2:30 Eastern.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I'm looking at this. They have season 3 up here. Looks like season 3 is going to start on the 28th and run through November the 10th.
Yeah, there's 2 separate tournaments going on for ANZ. They've got they just did 2 smaller tournaments this time around.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 tournaments that are going to be 2 weekends each, or like 4 days of games spread over 2 weeks. So it should be. I'm guessing it'll be Wednesday, Thursday, because we won't have Owl this week.
Right.
So I mean, like they could put it on the weekend without interfering with Overwatch League. We'll be sure to tweet it out
Yeah, we'll get it out there one way or another.
one way or another. We'll get it out there. All right. Any more thoughts on that one?
No, I just thought it was really cool that Donut CSG had.
No, I
that-
think that's really
good
cool.
Statistics.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like that, I think that's an awesome bit of info. Well, why don't you give us an update on Korean Open Division then?
Oh, so this is interesting as well. Okay, so this is absolutely crazy to me. So I had a little look at some of the Korean Open Division stuff, the Open Test, as it were. So as we talked about a couple of episodes ago, teams are qualifying for Overwatch Contender Season 2 Korea qualifier. I was looking at the results. I saw the WGS are into the qualifier. Great to see that org still competing in Overwatch. So it's really cool. And Club of Cards are also competing. So I had a look at Club of Cards. I was like, who are these people?
Was
I
it who?
recognize some of the names. Club of Cowards.
Okay.
Club of Cowards. And I was like, oh.
No, I just never heard of
I
them. I
know
wasn't.
these
I wasn't
players.
picking
I've
fun at you.
never-
I've never heard of
Yeah.
them.
So I was like, oh, I've heard like 2 of their players, and the 2 players with the Wikipedia page sign off, and I've heard of Forte who's on loan from JNGK. Like, what did JNGK do? JNGK got beat by Club of Cards in 3-2 fashion in the quarterfinals, which shocks me in a sense. So because JNGK have like full facilities and everything, right? To sort of go out in quarterfinals of Open Division is a big shock. At
Yeah.
least in my head. So yeah, thought that was really, really interesting. WGS going through is awesome. I also saw the An Elite roster, which I was really excited by, with Do, Rain, Pressure. Pressure is an off tank who I think extremely underrated, playing Chinese Contenders for a bit.
I was about to say, where did Pressure play?
Chinese Contenders, and then also played for Incendia for one match.
Which team in Chinese Contenders? Here, let's pull up that wiki.
Huneng, I think.
Oh, Hunan Gaming? Yeah.
Yeah, Huneng and Solus.
Yep.
Played for two different teams in Chinese Contenders.
I never recognized the name. Good call. Good call.
Yeah, so just really interesting to me, this sort of stuff. To see Pressure on the same roster as Hailey, who you'll remember from the Overwatch League, and Rain, who used to play for UPA, I think. No, not UPA. No, it wasn't Rain. It was Rain. Rain, who used to play for the Valiant. That Rain.
Yeah. Okay.
That Rain. So Rain and Hailey on a team that didn't even qualify, didn't even get top 2. Top 4 in this event as well. So big shocks there in Korean Contenders Open Division.
Yeah, JNGK going out that early is a huge shock.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, I recognize a couple names on this roster, but a lot of it looks new. Am I crazy?
JNGK, look, they have the funding, and they loaned out one of their players. Croa and Guriam are very talented players. Tamper as well. Dart, they should be getting through. Is my assessment.
Gotcha. And is this only top 2 moving forward?
At the current moment, yes. I don't see any other suggestions. I think there are 2 other teams, but that's only the ones that qualified from this event.
Okay, so if we take a look at qualifier. Yeah, it looks like just Club of Cowards and Elite.
Yeah.
Elpis?
Yeah, okay, so it's top 4.
Oh, top 4 qualified.
Top 4
Well, I mean,
qualified.
JNGK then will be like
Yeah.
stunned that they didn't get through. But an Elite, interested to see how they develop with Hoyley and Rayan on their roster. We'll see.
Whoa. Who's this team 815?
Who's got Dynamite?
Talon, ex-Talon.
That's I mean, like that is the Talon roster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Attack, Develop, Tugan. Yeah. That's a nasty roster. I just didn't recognize the name. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they did a little They did a little competition to see who could design their logo. It was really interesting.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, so they did a little thing to challenge people to try and design their logo. It was really, really cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Do we have a date on this? This starts on the 31st for the qualifier.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So we'll get qualifier 31st as Halloween Day through 11:03. So we'll be in California through all of this, but we'll be sure and update you on the results of this qualifier to determine who's going to make it into Korean Contenders. Looks like we got some new players that definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Oh yes, 100%.
All right. Well, with that done, let's see. Don't use the strike through. Just hit the check mark.
Boink.
Yep. So you just hit the check mark and it does strike through. Okay, we're talking about Google Docs. All right. Probably not the most enthralling topic. We're like battling over our run of show right now. Let's see. So we go ahead and talk about Calling All Heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want to. Here, let's reverse this order because I think we'll spend a little bit more time on Calling All Heroes. So let's go ahead and talk about the Young and Beautiful. Basically announced that they were releasing the GeForce roster that they had picked up. There's rumors we might see this again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But this is I just want to see these players land somewhere. Is really my final thought on this. is I grew to really like this G4 squad. We've had Pummy on the podcast before. Super nice kid. And I mean, I liked watching this squad play. They definitely had their own identity. They were very strong throughout the entirety of 2022. As G-Force struggled a little bit here the last tournament because the meta didn't really seem to fit their play style and their hero pools. But I want to see this whole squad land somewhere awesome.
Yeah, no, same. I really enjoyed them.
I just want their skins.
Oh, that would be amazing! Like if they would actually release these skins in game. These skins are so amazing. Skins.
I mean, as the resident gay here, yeah.
I'm just saying it's weird that we hear from Young and Beautiful when we haven't heard much from them. Maybe something's going on there.
Maybe. Those skins are awesome though. Give us the Yab skins. Yep, Yab skins. Yep. That's my new lower third. Yep, Yab skins.
Yep.
All right, now we can move on and talking about the tournament that went on over the weekend, and well, at least the first part of it, as you'll have 2 qualifiers and then a final over this tournament. Let's talk about Calling All Heroes.
It was cool. The viewership was really, really good, which I'm sure gives more incentive to see more of these sort of tournaments.
Yep.
Very excited for the future of this. We got to see a good turnout of teams as well. It was sad to see some of the Twitch and YouTube chat's reactions to this event. I thought it was extremely appalling. And I personally, if I was there, I'd be looking at who has their accounts linked to Battle.net and banning them.
Yeah,
That's what I would do. Because it was very bad. And I think that's the sad thing. We could take all the positives from this great event that gives people with marginalised genders a chance. But I think also how much of a service are we really doing people with marginalised genders if we are not taking responsibility for the hate that they got for playing in this tournament from the YouTube chat.
I mean, that just goes to show why we need it, right?
Oh, 100%. But I think action should be taken on that sort of sense.
Yep. I mean, the constant misgendering was. I had to turn the chat off. I mean, pretty bad. Twitch wasn't as bad as the YouTube chat. It didn't have the same numbers as the YouTube chat either. I think everybody was still expecting to get drops from it. That's why everybody was on the YouTube. But the Twitch just seemed to be a lot more tame.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch it because there weren't drops, so I didn't watch the tournament. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
The tournament. I literally saw you watch it. Nah.
I'm kidding.
Well played. But I mean, still, it was
a fantastic event.
Yeah, it was a fantastic event.
Well, I mean, so we started off kind of focused on some of the negative that happened with it, but there was, I think, an overwhelming amount of positive as well.
I think the talent displayed on the Artemis team is ridiculous. It's so good. Can we pull that roster up? Can we do that? Is that production guy? Can you?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's one here. Let me see if I could find. All right, roster's on the screen right now. I'm gonna see if I can find a better one on Twitter. Well, if you want to talk about it for a moment.
I can link. Just look up all your Artemis in the
That's
bar.
exactly what I was gonna do. Just talk about the roster. I'll take care of pro outside.
Oh, it excites me. Okay, sorry, sir.
Trust your producer. I mean, I realize it's me, so that's a tall ask, but just this once, trust your producer.
I've lost my Wikipedia. Oh, there it is. Right, cool. So LTR Artemis roster. This is exciting. I mean, Bun and HK as DPS here is really, really scary. I think you can play a lot of DPS heroes with that as well. I'm going to skip the tank line for a second if that's all right. I'm going to go Healy, who we obviously know has played a contenders a couple of times, more than a couple, been Overwatch League as well. Autumn Lee, who is a friend of mine who I met in Chicago at the LAN. Super nice gamer. Great to talk to, great players, but super underrated. Glad to see them get an opportunity on this roster. Wicca as well, brilliant player, has been on Cryx. And again, didn't see much of them during the event, but I've heard good things. Well, I actually don't know how to pronounce their other tank. Eve. Very good players as well. I don't definitely think they're the standouts of this roster. I definitely think their backline and their DPS line is what attracts my eyes to this roster, at least, just because
Right.
of the way their backline plays. I really like it, and the way how good their front line, their DPS are. Ban and HK are cracked players, and also managed by one of my really close friends. So, really, really happy to see them do well.
It was a stacked roster. I mean, names you recognize, names we've seen through tier 2 and high tier 3 for a while now. I mean, Halo, played under the battle tag Haley previously, so like that's one that goes back. So if you're wondering, well, I mean, like there's players. I mean, Bud has been around forever. HKey, yeah, HKey was HKey broke and has just truncated to HKey in recent time, rebranded to HKey. But these are names that have been around, for some time in the scene.
Yeah, they're good players.
They're really good players.
The DPS line's fun to watch because they can probably pull out any hero. So that excites me.
So just kind of in reference to back to the reason behind this tournament, why is it so important, Billy? I'm kind of looking at you. Ocean's been talking here. I'm gonna direct this way to you. Why is it so important that these gamers get a chance to shine on a stage like this on the Overwatch League channel? Which, mind you, is kind of why we saw what we saw in the chat. It was on the Overwatch League channel, nearly 500,000 views over the course of 3 days. It was astronomical, maybe over 500,000 views, actually, thinking about math and stuff. But the math's not important. The why is. What makes us so special?
I mean, we have to be an inclusive community. And, I mean, we've been fighting homophobia, transphobia, people that are in the marginalized community. I identify as a marginalized member of that community. While I do know what my gender is, there are people out there that just don't have that same security in who they are. They're still trying to figure it out, and allowing them to game the same way that everybody else does with an even playing field. I think that's what this is trying to call out. Is that everybody has the right to play. Everybody has the right to feel safe in their games and not feel like they're being targeted because they have a feminine name or a battle tag, and then they come out with a voice that doesn't match what, necessarily the gamers think that should be. And that's something that, I will always champion on my own. I've always championed that on my own, but seeing it on the Overwatch League channel, that really gave me heart that they are actually leaning into this. That's why this is so important. And that's why we saw a lot of the disgusting comments out there. We saw some misgendering not only happen in the chat, but also on the broadcast as well. And I'm going to call that out. There's no reason for that to ever happen. Now, why is it so important that we continue moving forward with it? I think that, as people of a marginalized community, they need to have the support from the greater whole. And there's way more people out there that are supportive of it than that are not supportive of it. And I think you saw that a lot. There's a lot of people correcting people in the Twitch chat, especially YouTube chat, kind of, they were having to be banned out because they were just being gross. But you saw the allies stepping up. And I think that it also empowered not only the people playing in the tournament, but also the people who support people like me, support people that are non-binary, support people that are in this marginalized gender community. It was so fucking awesome to see. And, OWL, the Overwatch League channel, for them to lean that hard into it and put it up there, and they're going to continue to move forward with this, and not considering the caster camp aside as well. I mean, this is a big investment by Overwatch League and by, Activision Blizzard. That's why this is so important. This is going to pave the way for the rest of the esports gaming community. If they really do handle this the right way, I think this moves everything forward, at least 10 years, and makes it a much more environmentally safe place for those of us that are in a marginalized community.
Yeah, I have another note that's on representation in the sense of, like, for example, how many, females we said in the Overwatch League 1. You know, I mean, if we're not including broadcast talent, because we've had many amazing people in that sense.
But as far as just players,
Just
Guguri's been the only
I
one.
agree.
Yeah.
So in that sort of sense, you know, how you as a woman or non-binary person gonna know that that's a pathway for you? You aren't. That's why representation is important. You know, if you're even if we take gender out of this completely, if you're a young kid from Japan that enjoys Overwatch, right, and you're watching the Overwatch, you don't see Japanese players, but do you think that's an option for you? No, you wouldn't. So that's why representation is important. I mean, look, what's been really, really exciting is seeing the increase in female and non-binary players in tier 2 has been really, really good, especially in higher tier teams. We used to see a couple of players in and around tier 3, but we never really saw them in contenders. It's starting to happen. That transition is starting to happen, and that's good.
Yep.
But that's why the representation aspect is so important, and not in terms of just gender, but also like region-wise as well. So I think that those are things that are starting to improve in the tier 2 sense of things and the tier 1 sense of things, but also need to keep improving. Is one of my things, because representation is key when it comes to this sort of thing.
Well, and that creates more opportunities, right? I mean, that creates the opportunity to get better, to play against better teams, to be a part of more elite teams, which is just going to elevate the level of gameplay for all gamers, which is the way it should be.
Also, you know, the basic sense of the word. Say, you know, organization, or let's say Fern, you know, at Altiora, loves inclusivity in esports. They have a contenders project. They look at this tournament, they're like, oh, heck, one of our players really, really performed in this tournament. Let's give them a try it. See what they do. One other war gunner that's looking to build a project in tier 3. It's like, oh, I don't know where to start. Maybe you've ran out of flex support trials, or there was a crack flex support trial in the Calling All Heroes tournament. Let's give them a go. Why not?
Absolutely.
What have you got to lose? That sort of thing. That's why it's so important to have them on a high stage. And hopefully this leads to maybe we see another female or non-binary player in Overwatch League.
Yeah.
And then you go, hey, look, and then another. You have one woman in Overwatch League as a player now. Guarantee that you can create 2, 3, 4 in the
Absolutely.
future.
It makes such a huge difference.
One woman builder. That's 2, 3, 4 in the future. You're inspiring those people, especially on like the Overwatch League stage. You have a female player play or a non-binary player play, then a female, hundreds, maybe thousands of non-binary female players are then going to see that and go, "Hey, I can do that." That creates that sort of thing.
No,
let's look at it. Let's look at it from, you know, even a more traditional sports sense. And I think one of my biggest points of reference as far as inclusivity and representation is the Tiger Woods effect. Tiger Woods broke the mold on what a PGA golfer should look like. He was not black. He was not white. He was not anything. He was of mixed race, black and Thai, and he came out there and broke every mold, and that allowed for more of the representation to come out. We saw more members of the black community coming out and finding that golf was an actual venue and vehicle for them to get to the pros. You saw it with people of mixed races descent as well, and it even transforms even farther over that. If you think about Naomi Osaka in tennis. Oh
yes, brilliant.
Naomi Osaka is
Serena
one
Williams.
of my favorite. I mean, Serena did okay. Those two, Serena and Venus, did their own thing, but I think that Naomi didn't identify as just black or just Japanese.
She's also like, Osaka speaks a lot about mental health as well. She just was a better. I think she's like a really, really clever example for this. So I like that idea.
She's come on social media and say, I have to quit this tournament because my mental's not right. She's throwing away hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions, when she dropped out of the 2021 French Open because her mental health wasn't right. So these big players on these big platforms, using their platform for good, taking some of the stigma away from all these things that are happening. I mean, we're going to have, I mean, I'm waiting for the day when it finally is, a top tier gay player in a major sports organization. And I know that we had one in football.
Yeah, I was going to say NFL comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean,
surprisingly enough.
I mean, Michael Sam did it a couple of years ago. It didn't catch on. We've had another one come out as openly gay. Let's see how this one goes, because
it's not about whether
the race thing aside.
I mean, I don't know. As a straight white male, this is I'm the I'm the I don't know, I'm the stranger to this land. Like I know I'm a guest in this land, but it's to me it doesn't seem like it's about whether it catches on or whether they're the best player of all time. It's just that we're seeing more and more of it, and that's what's important. And circling back around to the event this weekend, like it's I mean it's just that it's becoming more with more representation. You have more people to look at it and go, hey, people like me can do this. Be it whether it's traditional sports, whether we're talking Overwatch specifically. I think it creates that effect. It breaks that dam open, and it starts off as just a little bit of a trickle from a hole in the dam, but more and more cracks form, and more water starts pouring through. You start seeing more and more representation from all kinds, and circling back around to specifically calling all heroes, to seeing marginalized genders, take their place in esports. I mean, their rightful place in esports, to where it becomes more diverse, and it does create more opportunity. I mean, that's just
a really good example on representation as well.
It's kind of an outside point of view, so I do put that asterisk by it, because I know this is not about me whatsoever, and so my opinion is not first person opinion, right? It's just from an outside looking in kind of thing.
Look, I'm part of the rainbow mafia, right? I'm very proudly gay. Okay, I'm still learning about marginalized genders, and I've been out since I was 14. I've been out for 30 years. It was 30 years this past summer. Okay, and I'm still learning. Cool. I'm still learning as I go.
There's more to learn about.
There's more to
better
learn.
Accommodate people all the time.
Yeah,
100%.
And that's why I think that calling all heroes is so important. Like, I mean, I love being corrected on not saying female non-binary. We got a note from Paddington, and I want to thank Paddington for putting that out there for us. Marginalized gender, it takes away the extra steps, and it just includes everybody in there rather than having to explain anything.
Yeah.
Marginalized it means exactly what it is. And Paddington, we love your face, just so you know.
Thank you so much. And what I wanted to give a note on representation is not exactly. This is a weird example. It's not exactly the best way to put it, but on how this sort of affects things. For example, if we saw a player of marginalized gender in the Overwatch League again, we've explained how this could bring about more. But a good example is, for example, how many Western main tanks do you see? A lot, especially young Western main tanks. Who have said they were inspired just by Super because they were a Western main tank. They wanted to be like him, right? Yeah. This could be a very similar thing, but obviously for people of marginalized genders.
Agreed.
Yeah,
absolutely agreed.
Let's shift focus a little bit, because we kind of touched on Ultra Artemis, but that's really the only team we've touched on. I felt like there were a lot of good standouts in this tournament, narrowing back in on the sheer talent of these gamers. And I mean, Shikigami comes to mind right out of the gate. Whispers, had a phenomenal tournament. What was the? I forget what their tag was in game. New Year's Kiss was what they were using in game. Holy cow, what a standout performance.
I thought Whispers was great. What I thought about all the other teams is they have some really, really great individuals. I think that's why I wanted to mention Artemis, is because they were a really good team. And what I want to see over the course of these qualifiers and then towards the final tournament is the rest of these become great teams, because we saw some really good individuals on other rosters like Whispers and Sparrow. I thought the DPS line for Shikigami was really good. On Polaris, I thought Sheep was very good. I thought Terra was pretty good. I would like to see this become more good teams, because I think Artemis was ahead because of that reason.
That's just not the experience, though. That just comes down, they had more team experience.
Yeah, the experience definitely does help. But isn't this also what this is about? All these players gain experience.
Yeah,
exactly. They gain more experience in a team environment, and then they'll become good teams. And who knows? Maybe someone could challenge Artists in the grand finals. I don't know. I mean, it'd be a tough task.
I mean, I think Shikigami could, continue to grow stronger and stronger as a team, as an org themselves, or somebody like Whispers could get picked up to a T2 squad. Like, how amazing would that be? That alone.
I don't think that's a direct transition. I think it's probably closer to top tier 3 and then tier 2. But I mean, it definitely could happen. I think that's definitely what we're looking at, hoping it happen.
Right.
Is that okay? Let me ask a question. Altior or Skywards, because I did not get a chance to see them play.
That is who you.
Is that Brixie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Brixie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Also,
Absolutely.
what team did Ruby play on?
Mochi,
Ruby was
of
on
course.
Mochi, but was unwell for part of the tournament, unfortunately.
Yeah. They're always fun to watch, and that is unfortunate because Ruby is a really good tank.
Get top 4.
There's somebody that I think has a outsider's chance of going to OWL, or at least really contending in contenders.
I think for her,
Ruby,
she needs to be given like a proper shot, like a tier 3, a mid to high tier 3 roster, and then you'll see the progression actually happen. For that to happen, and for a lot of these players, is they need some good individuals around them to help develop them and get them more comfortable in these environments. So I think definitely that could happen. Yeah. Sorry, I came off across as challenging. I was like, I would like that to happen, but I think for these things to happen, to get these players up to the Overwatch League and contenders level, they need good people around them. I think that's something that really needs to happen as well.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's, again, reinforcing the importance of this tournament and other tournaments like it. One other little update from Pad and chat. When we were talking about the miscreants that were in chat, action is being taken, according to Pad.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And follows up with saying there's always a purge when you take a stand for something progressive. Amen. I mean, like, that's part of it. You're breaking new ground. You're doing something that goes against the norm. You're going to get haters. If you're not getting haters doing something like this, you're not doing it right. And I think putting it on the Overwatch League channel was doing it right, knowing full well that you're going to get people in there making stupid comments. But that means you're doing something right. Applause. Also, I want to go with Pad's latest comment. Another big part is showing that there is a space that will stand up for them and enforce rules to make them feel welcome. I think that is huge. And yeah, I mean, a big tip of the hat. Big tip of the hat to everybody involved.
Yeah, no, we've definitely seen some big positives. Yeah. I really want to check in on that narrative later, because I think part of what I would be concerned about with having a separate tournament for people of marginalized genders is that they don't get that same narrative as a tier 2 tournament would. I want to check in on the narrative later on once we see the next qualifier of some of these teams becoming teams. In that sort of sense, I want to check back in on that.
Just not an amalgamation of players, but
of talented players, but actual teams like arguments. I want to check in on that narrative later on, because I think that would also be doing a service to these people as well, giving them the same narratives and treatment we would rosters in tier 2 and high tier 3.
Absolutely.
Well, if anybody watches this podcast, I mean, coaches. I think coaches and orgs need to be looking at these players, and if they don't have that system in place, somebody reach out to them. I mean, we can do that service for them. We got our voices.
I was hoping there was a couple of tweets I saw that were just people that worked with the tournament, people that worked alongside the tournament. Bailey was a big one of them, but there were a couple others that I don't remember offhand. It was names that immediately jumped. It wasn't names I recognized, but I was hoping to give him a shout, and then I failed to get that tweet ready. So I was kind of digging through here, hoping I could find the tweet that I saw, because I intended to bookmark that for podcast, and my ADHD brain just spaced on it. Because there were a lot of good people behind the scenes, and they deserve some shout outs.
Washed producer is washed.
Oh yeah, dude, I was washed 10 years ago. Are you kidding me?
We just throw a blanket. Thank you so much for all that you guys have done, and hopefully we can get the tweet out later.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, we definitely try to back these things as much as possible. I definitely would say speak for all of us and say we're definitely not perfect when it comes to supporting these causes. We'd like to be. We like to try our best. But it's been really, really cool. One thing I would like to say, anyone watching this episode, is go back and watch our Damer Police episodes. They were cool.
Yep.
Where we highlighted people in the community.
Yeah.
So yeah, do that.
Yeah. That's,
I meant to
we
say
have
these
some-
people.
some-
I said just people in the community, and that just did not help at all. I meant to say we highlighted some of these people who partook in this event. I just did. I'm sorry.
Aloe is one that I wanted to give a shout out to. Sapphire is the other. There you go. Those were the two that.
Oh, Mash, I'm sorry. I don't know how to speak. Why did I cast? Why did I do podcast? Why did I live?
I don't know, but also another big one out there that I wanted to thank was Annie Poo.
Yes.
Annie Poo did a lot of signal boosting
She was also
for
on
this
this
tournament.
event. So,
So
so you
Annie
know
Poo,
it.
thank you to you too. I love Annie Poo. I've just started getting to know them, and I really, really do like what they do. So thanks to Annie Poo as well.
I like this people who got into Overwatch by accident community. That is seems to be
It
how
is
it
starting
works.
to happen, isn't it? So not trying to like
That's
go out
great.
this event. It's I was in
That's
right.
great.
I was in right, and this guy goes, "Oh, is that Ethan Ocean Lloyd, right?" I goes, "Yeah." I was like, "I got a bit of a big ego," and he was like, "Aren't you gonna look me up into this?" I was like, "Yeah, no."
Huh?
Got a 50k follower Fortnite caster now. And I goes, "Oh shit." And he started making content on a second channel on improving in Overwatch. Boop and L on Twitter. Go look at them. They're trying to do some Overwatch stuff. Really, really cool. So yeah, that happened. I just accidentally egoed them, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
You ass.
It wasn't intentional. It was a bit of banter, right? And then I got my ass fairly handed to me. They did
Oh
end
my.
on Arista
Nice.
though, so yeah.
Well, speaking of ranked,
Well,
we're going into games later on, right? That is
I
the
think
thing,
so.
right?
Nothing not ranked games for you though, but
Why not?
I have an alt account.
I have no interest in playing ranked.
I do.
I'll carry you. Easy.
That's quite all right. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We're doing some fun community games then. I mean, this episode's lasted a bit longer than we expected, I think.
Yeah.
Wonder why that happened.
Yeah. We don't have Phil here, so we just go
We
off.
still have another topic, by the way, as well. I added it in.
You added a topic. What the hell? You can't just
Yeah.
add topics. Who do you think
I
you
did.
are? Who do you think you are?
You degenerate.
What? You can't call me that.
Oh no.
Oh,
Are we
okay.
seriously.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
What's the tweet attached to this? I don't know
There
about
was
all
no
this,
tweet
Ocean.
attached to it. But there was another tweet attached to it because the event was so poorly promoted.
Well, there's a link there. Oh, that's just the Yab. That's the same Yab tweet.
Yeah, you didn't really mind. Anyways, there was a Heroes Recall EMEA tournament that was a couple of streamers and like 3 tier 2 players played in it. An EMEA tournament that was meant to highlight a bunch of regions in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and just missed loads of them out. I was a little surprised by this tournament. How poor it was. I thought it was really poorly executed because we missed regions like Spain. We missed Northern Ireland, and Ireland as a region as well. I thought it was really poorly executed. I think if you wanted to do this tournament, you make it an actual tournament. It's $100,000 prize pool.
Yeah, it was a huge freaking prize pool.
The event,
100K prize
There's
pool.
no tweet attached to this because there was no actual promotional tweet for this event. Like, it just didn't happen. There was a lot of money thrown into this. I thought the way it was executed as an event was poorly, and I thought that only picking certain regions in Europe was a bit of a minor disaster. Actually, a major disaster. I think
this whole thing was confusing as
realistically,
hell.
if you're going to run an EMEA tournament and have like the Benelux region and the Nordic region, the UK region, and Saudi Arabia and Germany, where the hell is like Spain and Portugal as a region? Ireland, what are we? You can't just miss those regions out.
Now, because this was set up like a mini World Cup, right? Like a European Cup type of deal.
Yeah,
EMEA,
Almost like
EMEA Cup.
EBC.
Yeah.
Almost like the EBC. Yeah.
But there wasn't any promotion for it. There wasn't any prod house for it. They relied on the individual streamers to just stream their points of view, and relied on their following to just be like, I'm gonna come watch the same streamer like you would.
None of these streamers were near the top of Overwatch. I mean, they were near, but they weren't there.
It seems so bizarre to have $100,000 tournament and you don't even pull a prod house in for it. Like, you don't make it a tournament where you could go look at a bracket, where you can learn about new players, where you get exposure to some of the. I mean, notwithstanding the fact that they didn't include every region, but even the regions that were included, it's not like those regions were getting any exposure that they desperately need to their region because no one ever knew about it. Like, it was.
Yeah, no, I think it was poorly executed.
And 10K would be a monstrous prize pool for something like that. $100,000 prize pool, and you can't afford to put casters on it, or you don't have the foresight to organize it in any kind of official manner. Like, it was the most bizarre event I have seen in 6 years of following Overwatch.
That money could have been put to ANZ's open division. I mean, if we're putting 25K
I mean, I'll tell you what I would have done 100%. We talked about representation earlier on this broadcast. Pacific Contenders Tournament, 50K, just one little
SA
Pacific
Contenders.
tournament. And an SA Contenders, 50K
50,000.
each.
Yep.
That's enough to get people involved, and it's enough to have some representation in Tier 2 for those regions.
Damn right.
You know, and Phil,
Even if it's one event for both regions, it is so important. That's what I would have done with that 100K.
When you talk about the importance of the Japanese representation in ANZ contenders, I mean, imagine if you just started a pack, if we reinstated, let me rephrase that.
You have orgs from Taiwan, Hong Kong, also very devoted things.
I mean, let's not forget, this is where JNGK comes from. This is where T1 came from, Talon came from, excuse me. This is, Talon. I mean, this is where your Donut
Mind Freak has players from here.
Yeah, like you have all of these players and these teams that have just kind of been scattered. That you could draw back and actually have a proper pack contenders, and you would get the support.
It don't even have to be a contenders; just be like a pack showdown, like an Overwatch ACE return or something.
Sure.
And I don't understand why we don't have SA either, because I mean, look at Brazilian teams in any other shooter game. And I tell you, there's a market out there. If there's no market out there, then I wouldn't be saying this, right? I would definitely have done that with 250K tournaments, and you bring new regions into Overwatch. 100% would have done that, especially
at the launch.
With the new game.
Yes, at the launch of Overwatch 2, there would be no better time to reintroduce these regions and to try to build support for your game from a business standpoint, even to try to build support for your game in markets that you have failed in or have very much lacked in the previous 6 years. You had the money dedicated to it. You had the time to do it, and you put together a just half-cocked, like absolutely slapdash tournament that, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I mean, even again, if they were going to do the European Cup deal, at least give it the proper marketing. I mean, give it some graphics, give it to a prod house. Let some casters get some chops on Overwatch 2 and actually say some of these names. Yeah. I mean, like, we know firsthand, it may seem very small, but it means a lot to players when they get to be streamed and they get broadcasters talking about them, and they could tell their family to go watch and point their friends to it, and like that means a lot to these players. That means a lot to these regions. Like, this was so poorly handled in so many ways, and there are numerous things that they could have used that money toward that I think would have had a bigger impact
or you
on
could
the
just put
community.
that 100K into Calling All Heroes. Just putting all 100K in there.
That too.
Yeah,
that would have been a perfect appropriation of the money as well. I think going back to the inclusivity of the whole EMEA thing, I mean, for me and for a couple other casters in the community, like the EBC, I bring that up because that was like one of my biggest, at that date, one of my biggest gigs. And I mean, it got me a chance to learn who Snorlax was and learn who a lot of these European players are from an American's perspective. It gave me a chance to delve into there and learn why Anchoring Titans were so good, and learn who Vasta Gaming were, and learn, I mean, I've got a clip on my reel still from Sir Gibson in the EVC with Bull Skunk.
God, I've not heard that name
I
in
mean,
ages.
yeah. So I mean, it's still one of my iconic casting moments, and I mean that came out of the EBC. So, I mean, there's a lot that can be said for the European community. I mean, you missed Italy. There's a huge Overwatch community in Italy. Italy was not represented in this as well. Turkey wasn't represented. The Balkans, I postulated this at you guys. We can't name anybody outside of the Wonder Kid DPS, who I still can't remember his name.
Shadowburn
from Bulgaria.
No, Shadowburn was Russian.
Buck?
Buck.
Yeah, Buck the Bulgarian Beast.
Buck the Bulgarian Beast. But I mean, Boger and Skyripa are the only two out of the Balkans that I can think of. And Skyripa comes from Romania, and Boger comes from Bulgaria. So I mean, those are the only two other than Buck, now that I can remember his name. Thank you so much for pulling that out of my memories. But I mean, the Balkans, yeah, I understand why maybe we might think that there might be a lot more representation there. But I mean, you didn't see anything out of the Czech Republic. You didn't see anything out of Poland. I mean, Europe is huge. Austria. I mean, yeah, you could probably see them playing on a German team or a Swiss team.
Yeah, that's not the point. Together. Put them together.
I mean, you put the Nordics together.
Yeah, so that put them together.
I mean, you could
anything would have been better than what they did.
Franconia, you could have called it Franconia and gotten Switzerland, Austria, the Czech Republic, and Germany all involved in that. So I mean, that's where I kind of grew up, so I'm very familiar with that part of the world. But I mean, Spain and Portugal, yeah, big misses there. France was represented, Ireland. But nothing from Ireland. Yeah. I mean, I lump in Northern Ireland with the UK. I'm sorry, just because of the geography class.
So the thing is, like,
I mean, you can still have an Irish team.
Say if you are a Catholic or a nationalist person in Northern Ireland who identifies as Irish, you're not going to play on a UK team. You wouldn't. So then you would want them to have a safe space to be able to play in Ireland, which is one of their basic human rights. I think this event was done poorly. I don't want to be rude.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you, Ethan.
I don't want to talk down because I like the fact that we're investing in Overwatch, and I love some of the stuff Blizzard has made. Yeah. So far, increasing the OD price was a really big step. And obviously, I want to work on contenders with Blizzard. I want to work these events with Blizzard, but I think this was a really poor call.
Well, I mean,
I got to postulate the question. Who's running the P2P now?
I don't know if that's been.
Who's the project manager?
Because somebody is. They've got they've got a couple of project managers. I don't know who's in charge of all of these project managers.
Right. I mean, we know Bailey's a project manager at Blizzard,
and we know that Jang is a project manager. We do not know who's in charge of them.
Right. I'm not sure if Dan's role has ever been fulfilled / announced.
That's what I mean.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I haven't heard anything. It is good to see that they're putting money back into the community, and they're putting it back into Path to Pro.
Event was a bit of a failure.
I mean, this was a bit of a swing and a miss, not gonna lie, especially for that gargantuan swing that you took at 100K.
But it's still out there, and it's still being
it's
done.
Still a lot of money going into the scene. A step in the right direction. You can tell that they want to promote the different regions that have kind of fallen by the wayside. I'd say Europe has actually kind of fallen by the wayside as a whole. So I understand the idea of wanting to kind of bolster the European scene right now. But man, it seemed like there was a lot of ways this could have been improved.
Yep. But I mean, even a 25K pool there, or a 50K pool, even still, 25 to Oceania or Pacific and SA. So much bigger, such a much bigger outreach. It would have been.
I didn't even talk about this. We could do some sort of gauntlet with 100K, man, like as a prize pool. Like,
you're right.
Yeah,
that's a big prize pool.
That's a big prize pool. That's a massive prize pool.
You do so much.
Fly us to Korea.
Oh no! I mean, even if a worldwide gauntlet's not feasible, we could still have done like at least a
250K like gauntlets.
Yeah, like you can still do a Westworld gauntlet, like do what they did in 2020, and at least have like NA versus EU. I don't Korea versus China versus ANZ would probably be pretty one-sided. We don't have Team CC here to come in and play the big upset this year, but it'd still be awesome. Like I wouldn't care. I would eat up every minute of Gauntlet of any kind.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I always think that's 100k could have been spent area. We've just given 3, 4, or 5 ideas that 100% would have been better.
Yep.
It's just very unfortunate.
Yep. I think that's a good place to leave that. I think we've lingered on that long enough. We've said our piece on that one. So let's move on to our T2 tweet of the week.
Do we have one?
We do have one.
Do we?
We do. This one coming from Overwatch Sunshine. And it is the Overwatch 2 counters chart.
Oh, no!
My teammate posted this in group chat 3 minutes before our game. And that response is why this is our T2 tweet of the week right there.
It's okay, Ethan.
The D.Va's counted by Junkrat or something, like near the start.
Oh no, this thing is all kinds of
It's
amazingly
so
scuffed. It is all kinds of amazingly scuffed.
No.
So if
Who
you
did this?
I don't know. It's been going around. Like now, I'm seeing the Overwatch League teams and stuff have started reposting it and making their own memes about it. But this was Sunshine's post was the first one I saw.
It's hilarious.
It's fantastic.
Oh.
Like there's a lot of yeah, it's just amazing. Sombra is countered by Widowmaker. I mean, like.
in for
Only
sight,
with
sure.
sights,
Well, okay, I'll give you him for sight. All right, like that's it. That's
Bastion-
I
Bastion
can
should
see how
be-
they came
just
up
have
with
an
that. Oh, you
infinity
just don't understand
symbol.
how D.Va's counted by Junkrat.
yeah. Diva's countered by
Just
Roadhog
in-
too, apparently.
And I think Sombra was there as well.
Yeah,
He was
Sombra.
isn't D.Va like the best check to Sombra?
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
sense,
Sombra
like-
totally counters Diva. Totally counters Diva.
Oh.
Yeah, this list is fantastic.
Hi.
Go to Overwatch Sunshine, give him a follow, drop this tweet a like because it's amazing. All right, and I think that does it for episode 23. Ocean, are you just look at this face? Ocean is still just enthralled by this chart.
No, I
This is-
fucking saw this earlier today, right? And I genuinely, I am not kidding. I called my mother and started venting.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Awesome.
My mother could have made a better tier list chart than that. She's watched like 3 games of Overwatch. Holy fucking shit! It is terrible. Whoever made that is on some. Oh my god!
Yeah, there's not enough goop. They're on all the goop. All right, friends. Well, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We'll get Phil back in here next week. As it's going to be
I'll be
our
gone next week, so
Yeah,
you'll
you're already
get
gonna be
more
on your way
views. You'll get
over
more
here.
views.
you'll already be across the pond,
Just wait for me when you
I'll be
fly over
crossing
Missouri.
the pond. I'll like literally be like middle of the
like
pond.
like just over the Atlantic.
I think so. Well, I think I'll be like at the US by then. I'm not
Just
sure.
fly- Just wave when you fly over Missouri and Texas.
Yeah.
I'll
All right,
wake up
Fritz.
at like 3 in the morning.
Oh no. Oh no.
What happened? What
Oh no. Shit's just starting
It
to.
broke.
It's starting to break.
Stream
So
broke.
it broke. Stream broke. It's all right. It's a good time to end
Okay.
it. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.